Oh, there were always plenty of fights. It was always great having to sort of separate linos from parents, especially. That was the biggest thing.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the M.R.F.A YouTube channel. I'm your host Jack Connolly and today we've got an excellent first and last for you with one of our coaches, Luke. So how you doing?
Great, thanks for the invite. Been waiting for my chance to get on first and last. Really happy to have some fun today.
So Luke, first question. What was the first concert you went to?
First concert I went to, I had to wait quite a while for my first concert. Didn't get to go to one till I was about the age of 21, 22. So obviously by that point,
Wow.
I was in Southampton, I was at university, and this won't resonate with a lot of people at all, but I went to a concert for a band called Skindred, which, if you haven't heard about them, they're a Welsh reggae metal band, and
they sound pretty heavy metal, yeah. The name of the band,
exactly,
yeah,
so
sounds pretty heavy.
So yeah, that was quite a first experience for me. You can imagine the sort of people who turn up. You can imagine the sort of scenes on the inside.
A lot of head shaking. A lot of
sore necks the next day. Some bruises. You know, left and right looking mosh pits.
All that.
And I could very much see the sort of scene I was in when right in the middle of this mosh pit. There was a big, almost 7-foot man, and I can't remember what his t-shirt said. Something along the lines of like "Mosh Troll" or something like that. And he wasn't there to pay attention to the music. He was just in the middle, elbows out, like this, walking around. So, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So, Luke, what was the last meal you made?
Last meal I made, I was very proud of myself. Not only was it very healthy, a very balanced meal, but I used up everything that I had to use up in the fridge. So it was a simple chicken and rice dish. However, added into it in a nice little stir fry were a lot of bell peppers, some avocado, some nice cherry tomatoes, some eggs on top, and spiced and seasoned to an absolutely gorgeous degree. So I was very proud of myself. Sounds
pretty gourmet. It sounds gourmet.
I was proud of myself. It tasted very good. It looked like a mountain of mush by the end of it, but if I'm going to fall down anywhere in my cooking, I'll happily have it be the presentation. So
there's a chef with all that hair, Marco Pierre White. You like him? Marco,
I must admit, I'm not too familiar with who that is. I usually just have to tie it up and get it out of the way. So
I'll put a picture on the screen of Marco
Definitely.
Pierre White in the edit, yeah.
I'm sure.
So you can see.
Got to treat yourself with a bit of style.
Yeah. What was the first pet you had, Luke?
The first pet I had, well, that's a bit of a tricky question to answer in all honesty for me, because I was quite lucky growing up, and I still am quite lucky. My family, we own all sorts of animals, so from a very early age I was dealing with tortoises, for example. I was dealing with all sorts of dogs, dealing with fish, dealing with birds like finches and doves and canaries, all this sort of stuff. So, and chickens as well. We're very...
Did you live in a zoo by any chance?
Not a zoo, more like a farm, to be honest. But the true answer to that question, and the first pet that I genuinely had was I adopted a stray cat whilst I was in Southampton. The very first day we moved into our uni house, we went in through the front door, out to the porch out the back, and this cat suddenly comes jumping over the fence and runs straight up and jumps into my lap. And
there you go.
Yeah, and through asking neighbours and doing all sorts of research, no one knew whose cat it was, and it just so happened that she decided to stay with us and stay with me, and she now lives with me now back in Colchester.
Did you keep the cat throughout the whole of uni when you were there?
For my final 2 years, yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you fed the cat well and it lived the happy. Do you know where it is now?
Yeah, she lives with me now. She lives with me back in Colchester.
Oh,
So she's essentially back on the farm, so she's loving life compared to the where we lived, which was out the back of a string of nightclubs in Southampton. So yeah, she's much happier these days. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. That's a great pet story. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Luke.
No.
So, Luke, what was the last book you read?
The last book I read, I was very lucky over lockdown. I got into sort of like the reading bug again. I managed to catch up on a lot of reading. So the last one I finished, completed, one I've been meaning to get around to for a while and was recommended to me by a friend, was Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. And it's essentially the story of a man who commits a murder and then has to spend the rest of the book dealing with the consequences of that and the investigation that goes on into it. And for the way I can liken it to modern audiences, it's a bit like Breaking Bad, the TV series, you know, an innocent man who turns to sort of desperate lengths and, ends up dealing with the consequences of those actions.
Dealing with a person who's not used to committing crimes, but can then commit a really bad crime.
Exactly
basically.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice, very very interesting. There you go.
Yeah.
So, Luke, what was the first job you had?
I was a football referee from the age of 16.
Nice. Matt, I had the same thing in the last video. What any particular moments that stood out? So I know I guess you must have been reffing kids.
Yeah, mostly reffing kids, sort of around teenagers basically.
Any moments that stood out with parents? Any fights? Anything like that?
Oh, there were always plenty of fights. It was always great having to sort of separate linos from parents, especially. That was the biggest thing. But, no,
Nice.
it was always great. I had this long hair back then, so I was quite an easy target as well for a lot of unhappy managers, I'd say. So,
yeah. Oh God, I can imagine.
But yeah,
So,
luckily nothing scarring, no particular standout issues.
Did you ever have to send off a child?
No, never had to send off a child. Only dished out,
good.
I'd say, 2 bookings over about a year's worth of refereeing. So yeah, very lucky.
I remember when I was playing football, it'd always kick off between like a lino dad and a manager, and then the dad would say like, "I'm not doing this anymore." He'd throw the flag on the ground, and it all kicks off.
I loved it because as a 16, 17-year-old kid, I got to take the moral high ground, and I'd walk home and go, like, what kind of example are you setting for these boys out here on the pitch? You know, so I very much enjoyed it.
That's good. And referees get paid quite well, don't they, as well? Like, for the time you do it, you know.
For the time you're doing,
Yeah, you do less than 2 hours.
If you're refereeing about, say, under 13's game or something like this, and they're playing half an hour, 40 minutes a half, you can get 20, 25 quid, something like that, if I remember correctly. So,
that's good.
It was very good for a 16-year-old, yeah.
Good, excellent, nice one. So, Luke, what was the last holiday you went on?
Last holiday, a little bit of a while ago now, obviously, but I was lucky enough to spend a week in Amsterdam with a mate of mine.
Nice.
Which obviously brings up all sorts of images, but we did very well. We went to many of the museums, saw many wonderful sights, got to take a little ride on the canals around there, which was very nice, and it was good, very good time.
Did you go to the zoo? I've heard it's quite a good zoo in Amsterdam.
I must admit, I didn't know there was a zoo in Amsterdam, and no, we didn't go to the zoo. No.
Just, I've not been there before. My mate said the zoo was great.
I see.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. Cool. All right.
Oh, fair enough. No, we didn't visit the zoo.
So, Luke, what's the first thing you do when you wake up every morning?
The first thing I do is something very boring. I think it's something a lot of us do. I simply just go over and check my phone and catch up on all the social media and news I've missed whilst I've been asleep, basically. So yeah, nothing too exciting.
It's always good to make sure the world's not ended.
No, definitely.
In the night,
and to be fair, we've had some nice headlines these last few days, especially with Biden being elected president and news of a new coronavirus vaccine potentially in the works. So yeah, it's been a better morning than most lately.
On my phone, whenever I get a notification, I get like a breaking news notification from BBC. I'm always like hoping that it's not like the world's about to end, or like today's the day that a meteorite is going to kill us all. You know, thankfully not happened yet. So we have to wait.
Yeah,
and see.
thankfully not.
So Luke, who was your first footballing hero?
First footballing hero I had is quite easy. Being a Spurs fan, sort of first getting my recent ideas of football around like the years of like 2007, 2008. Obviously, my hero is Dimitar Berbatov. He was my first hero. He was just so cool.
Great
Obviously,
player.
he was a striker, who scored all the goals, was the hero of his team. He had a little bit of long hair going as well, and as I say, he could just do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. He didn't have to sprint around and, work as hard as anyone else. He could just pluck a ball out of the air, do a turn whenever he wanted to, and as I say, scored a goal, scored a winner in cup finals. Yeah.
You could have a compilation of just like times when he's just like his first touch, couldn't you? Like you could just literally have a compilation of him just touching the ball.
Oh, definitely. Down. It's a nice way to relax in an evening. Just go on YouTube, chuck on a Dimitar Berbatov compilation, and feel through the hours you could find on there. Yeah. He was a special one.
Even at Man United, he was class, wasn't he, as well? So
he was.
Great player. That's a good choice. Hello. What was the last takeaway you had?
Last takeaway I had was a KFC. I decided to differentiate up a little bit. McDonald's is the easy one, but sometimes you just need that Burger King, that KFC somewhere just to spice things up a bit, keep things fresh.
what's your order? Do you get a big bargain bucket and just, you know, munch on it, or what do you go
Not
for?
quite a bargain bucket. My sort of preference of choice at KFC is a zinger box meal. So, you know, you get that lovely zinger burger and you get those two of those lovely spicy little chicken hot wings as well, which I really do enjoy.
God, I've not had a KFC since January, and
oh wow,
my mouth is watering right now. I mean, I've not had breakfast, and
oh, definitely, yeah.
I used to work at a service station, and I used to get half price KFC.
Oh wow! So I'm surprised you're the size you are now. Then, if that was the case,
don't even know. At lunch, I'd obviously there was Burger King, KFC, sub all in the space. I was like, it was a joke, and I'd literally get my KFC, lay it out. I'd always get the mighty bucket for one, where you get two wings, 2 pieces, and 2 strips, and chips and a drink. Ridiculous. I'd sit there and I just sometimes it is unbelievable.
Well, as I say, it's a testament to your strength of will and strength of character that you're not about 100 times the size you are now. So fair play to you, mate.
So last question, Luke. What was the first sporting event you went to?
The first sporting event I went to, surprisingly enough, it was a football game. And it was I must have been about 9, 10, 11 years sort of age, because it was a mate's birthday party, and he wasn't a big football fan from what I remember. I don't remember who he even supported, but we ended up being driven down to an Ipswich versus Plymouth game. I think it was Plymouth.
Exhilarating.
So this would have been about 2005, 2006. I'm not entirely sure what division they would have been in either, but I don't remember much of the game apart from just the sort of sheer excitement of. I wasn't excited about the game. What I was excited about is we were about 3 or 4 rows back from the sides of the pitch around the halfway line. And all we were hoping for was that, you know, one of the footballs would bounce over and we'd get to catch one, sort of like those American baseball games.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And, you know, we were told you got 2 choices when that happens. You can either keep the ball for yourself and hog it, or, you know, you can throw it back and get a little thank you from the player. So all the while the game was just hoping for a ball to bounce our way, and hearing some, having the very obscene and sort of differing football chants being explained to us in very gentle terms by my mate's dad. So, yeah.
Can you remember what the score finished?
Do you know? I couldn't tell you. There was definitely a goal scored, because I remember being surprised there was goal music.
Goal music.
So yeah, exactly. So there was at least 1 goal scored.
Well, at least 1. Well, there you go. Well, cheers for that. That's a good story for your first game. Well, that's all we've got time for today. But thanks to Luke for coming on and answering some first and last questions. If you like the video, please give it a like, subscribe to the M.R.F.A channel, and we'll see you next time.